Father, give me words and wisdom to deliver message in the best possible way. In Jesus' name, amen. Hi, everybody. And let's continue digging the truth so that we know what it is all about, and we can enjoy life better by knowing how to do it and what's against us. Today is a video where I can fall back on some of the work that we already done with different topics, as chemtrails, for example. We have video on that. Mind control, we have video on that, and some other connections that so far we successfully put together. Take a look at some of those. During the conversation, you will clearly see that it would be necessary, because some of you have been with us for 2 years and some wasn't. Maybe you just knew and saw a George video and liked it, but in order to connect more dots, I recommend you to go all the way back to the Statue of Liberty, which came out in October, I believe. And we would like to reflect back on the fact that 12 years ago there was a war in space, and when aggressor came, 2 of the planets with people living in there, which was Venus and Mars, was destroyed. Planets survived, but life on those planets was destroyed. Very few was preserved by our friendly civilization. A planet Phaeton, there was another planet in the solar system, was completely destroyed, and now the remedy of that planet is the circle around Saturn. Today we can clearly see that there are forces that continuously playing games with us, that we often enough don't know much to be a greater warriors, to understand the game, to win it. As they say at the Wall Street, one of the main rules at Wall Street: know the game, know the players. So that's pretty much the goal. We wanted to learn the game. If we look at the fact that there is still force or enemy going against Earth, we can clearly see that through mind control technique, through chemical alternation, through doing things with food, our water, or poisoning the air, those things affecting us. So science is being used against us very much on a very intensive level. We also can see, especially in the last 10 years, how technology was used against us. For example, mind control have ability to artificially destroy relationships. For example, the previous video that we did on George, you can clearly see that whenever the actor is reading the script from the paper, there is a force that really working against him, not to let him say the words that would allow you to connect the dots. If you listen the first video or the second, we had to make another one with interpreter so that you can clearly see what I wanted to say through those episodes. And the technology of the mind control can be used in a real time. For example, as he was reading the script, in the same time his mind was affected, and the result of it, the information was coming out in a distorted way. Our planet, we can look at it as a chess board. We all know game chess. There are 2 teams, whatever color we choose. Let's say we are white color. And then there's another team that is black. It's not about colors, it's about who's on whose team. And if we know a little bit about the chess game, the rules, the laws are the same. The creator of the game put the rules together for a reason, so that the chess game is possible. And as we play in the game, you can get ahead or behind whenever you're making good steps or wrong steps. You can get a lot ahead, or you can get a lot behind to the point of losing the game. And we got the board right here. If we look on our planet from the perspective of it being a stage or a board that guarded by the laws that God put together, then we can see from a different angle more of what we're trying to dig out from this story. And one of the things is that you cannot drop the ball playing chess. You do not have much opportunity for the wrong decisions, because the results of it, you're going to lose the game. Well, in some cases, there are people that already know that they're not going to be very good players against you, so they simply would provoke the situation and throw the board out without letting you finish your steps to prove the point that you are victorious. And whoever going against us, it seems like they are following similar tactics, since they could not beat us any other ways, because there are a lot of people that are Christ-like on our planet. Christianity is very strong religion here on our planet, and the word religion, I'd rather not use it, but in other words of saying, there is a lot of people on our planet that have a Christ-like heart, or they see life as a continuous improvement on the path to get closer to Christ-like level, to get from here to here. And isn't that true in any battlefield? To reach out to the heights, it is a special section of the war where it takes a lot of effort. If you reach out and you got these heights, then you have to maintain the victory so that the enemy don't drop you out of it to get to the next level. And in our lives, if we pursuing the path of evolution, of getting closer to Christ-like heart or mindset, we see those tactics that the enemy is using against us continuously. Those tactics, as I just mentioned, could be chemistry alternation, to dissolve our body and brain with elements that make a loser out of us. It could be alternation of mind perception of things, or it can simply be this other team. For example, there are two people, and one is pursuing evolution to get closer to Christ-like heart or mindset, and another one would do everything for him not to get there, to sabotage his path, to throw wood stick into the bicycle, another way of saying. And it can be, let's say, you reach these heights in your mind. There's still room to grow, but you here. You might experience something that morning or during the day or in the evening that would try to bring you down in your mindset. So we wanted to learn in the series how to keep this level and stay on the mountain or at the level that you climbed so far and not to let anybody drop you down. And those tactics coming out, for example, the phone call came in and some sad story or something else or something happened, or you need to be involved in something that distracts you from where you're at. So we wanted to recognize those moments and learn to counteract, and we'll do another video how to get through that. But the goal is not to drop the heights, because if we get down to the mountain, there is a lot more rocks falling at us. If we get up to the mountain and we're staying on top, there is not a single rock that can fall on you because you're at the peak. So we see that on a daily basis in family or relationships or at work, there are some people that are very good at playing those tactics against us. And today there are not only people that playing those tactics. Technology evolved for the 50 years period time, going to this Revelation 12, such that it allowed to make us see less and make us hear less. And in this process, when we see less and we hear less, we have a tendency to make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, somebody will get ahead over those mistakes. If I make a mistake in the financial world, somebody will make money off of that mistake I made. And in energy, it happens very similarly. So we got that point across. Let's look again at the chemistry alternation. As a human body, we want to learn our body and what it is capable of, and to be able to know it and to tune it so that at the different situations we can stay over the situation, not under the situation, but over the situation. I'm talking about the same attacks that continuously coming at us. It is important to understand that often enough it's not our fault, and now you will learn that there is a lot of technology being used against us artificially. Why? Well, we know that every building block of every country is a family. And we've seen how in the recent years, well, let's say looking back 10 years, going to today, there was a huge campaign that our enemies put together to disrupt relationships and families. Those campaigns was done with use of technology that we call today mind control. There's so much information about mind control. It's like when you have a lot of books on the table, you're not reading anything. But it is important that we get through this information so that we understand it is the reality that we're living in. And for example, this is a device, electromagnetic measurement device, that I carry with me anywhere I go. And once I turn it on, it will show, depending on the location, intensity of the frequencies coming out in that location, so that I know if I need to maybe grab a coffee, or I needed to get some vitamin C, or maybe it's a better idea not to stay in that location too long. Why? Because the influence of electromagnetic invisible waves affecting the brain waves in a way that you get into the mind coma. And I have 3 different measurements. I recommend you guys get some device on Amazon. Those are about $20. You can get the better one, but it is a good tool to have. The reason I show you that is because when you're looking at the measurements, it's jumping in the time frames less than a second. So it's telling you that there are invisible electromagnetic field that continuously affecting your brain waves that you don't see, but you have to understand that it exists, and depending on the measurements in that particular area, for example, in a new hotel, it would be very high because those routers on every other room, it can really affect you. For example, basketball team came in and checked in into the hotel where I was staying with John. They went out and they won the first game that evening. The next morning, they've had another 2 games and they lost both of those. They stayed that night in an environment that was against them, in a way of suppressing the energy levels of people. Because when you on this level, maybe not on the peak of the mountain, but maybe in the middle, you're going to be doing a lot better. You're going to be making less mistakes. If you get even higher, as I mentioned, there's no rocks coming at you, you're going to succeed every second of that day. If you dropped all the way to the bottom of the mountain, watch out, because those rocks coming at you non-stop, and it takes an effort to climb back again. Well, these things are not taught very much, so I'm putting an effort to bring it in a practical way, because it's one thing to have a book that just sitting there, it's another thing to look at it practically. So we have that working against us. So how do you destroy the family? Well, if you can shift the mindsets and get the guy's mindset from here to here, ladies not necessarily gonna drop their ball under the same frequencies. So those can be targeting exactly the guys. So when there is a big range between the lady and the guy in the mindset, there could be a problem. And those problems was artificially designed and used on many of you, which provoke situations where she says something, he says something without thinking what they say, but when you say it, it's already too late to fix it, and then they get to a loop where situation gets to the point of separation. What happens? Family get apart. There's a situation with the kids. So the brick stone of the country was interrupted. Every family, if they are happy, if they love each other, if there is love in the family, the guy, the husband, would produce that energy that grandfather of Anastasia was talking about from the previous video. Please take a look. So when man is experiencing the feel of love, man emits the energy that in less than a split second ascend and then come back reflected from the heavenly bodies, those planets and sun included, and gives life to everything on our planet. Sun is reflecting only a portion of that energy. So another way of saying, woman for a man is a trigger to produce that energy out of heart. And when there's love and kids growing, there's abundance of that energy, because there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of that radiant life force, I call it. So a lot of families was destroyed. Now, today we see this craziness with transgender. We're gonna get to the point now where we look a little bit deeper into the energies. What it is going on. Those parts that get get cut off is the main source of energy. And I'm going to read a couple verses from the Bible in just a little bit. So it is very important to keep those and not to fall into any mind control tactics or chemistry alternation tactics to shift your perception on the fact that being born a boy, you feeling that you may be a girl. So you need to rethink that paradigm. And if you watch this video all the way, you maybe will pick up a couple extra points that will help some of you that was put in the wrong delusional state, so that you can come out of it. George recently gave us some clues. He explained to us that there's a dragon reptilian race that live on our planet, which we made a connection. Those are the ones that was thrown away from heaven, reincarnated, and reptilians are their handlers, and their range of energy that they harvesting from humans is anger, grief, and some other very low energy levels. It is essential for them to have those types of energies harvest to survive and on our planet. So big chunk of the technology that is used on us human is specifically designed to manipulate our field perception of ourselves and the level of Christ consciousness that we are on. And their goal is to drop it as much as possible, so that instead of producing joy, love, and all the good things, we are continuously at the lower range energies. And if things are going south in your family, it's more difficult for you to stay in the range of feel joy or love, right? So it's continuously thrown at us to drop us down. So when we know that technology is being used against us to produce those types of results, then we understand the betrayers of the planet Earth, which are some of the reptilians, handlers, some of the humans that decided to be betrayers, working as a team against us humans. So there is us and there is them. It's no black or Mexican or white or whatever. This is nonsense. That coming to an end. It's us against them. And now we're going to be getting more clear understanding that they cannot confront us directly, because with the spark of God within us, we are much more powerful. But if they can drop our power levels that many of us not aware about all the way down, then they can get ahead in this chess game against us. And in the recent years, through this energy alternation, we at the point where we produce a lot less of that life force energy necessary to sustain our world where we live in. Another way of saying this other race wanted to throw this chessboard, and they considering to use nuclear weapons or pandemic 2, or to make Yellowstone go off, whatever it takes. But their goal is to drop this energy that we as humans producing, that that reflects in less than a second from heavenly bodies come back to the earth and gives life to everything. Their goal is to keep us on the edge where we produce very little of it, but abundance of the energy that they need. And to prove this point, we can just simply look at shootings at the schools when kids get affected. Why kids? Because kids in a not corrupted mindset produce huge abundance of that life force energy. It takes them a while until we, through our ways and stuff, corrupt their minds. But for as long as they're kids, they are the very top producers, saints. So we see shootings in school. We see recently Christmas parades when some driver go into the area where joy is flourishing and turn that joy into the grief. And those are the things we wanted to pay attention, because it will help us to put the picture together so that we understand the game and the players. I put some notes for myself. I'm gonna read it. With women, he can be happy and have joy in his life, especially if he follows on God's recommendations. There is a heart for every heart. Separated hearts have a lack of joy. So again, we are provoked to produce less of the life force energy. Life force energy is the light that sun reflects to our planet. It only reflects part of that energy. And then we also know that there are some forces blocking our sunlight, and it's happening day and night, and it's getting to the point where it's blocking the moon light that moon reflects from the sun. So that gives us extra clues, right? So we're looking into this paradigm of energy, mindset, and the feel. We are being manipulated on all of those. Let's see what Jesus say about these days. We're going to look at Luke 21. As for what you see here, the time will come when not one stone will be left on another. Every one of them will be thrown down. Teacher, they ask, when will those things happen? And what will be the sign that they are about to take place? Jesus replied, watch out that you are not deceived. For many will come in my name, claiming I am he, and the time is near. Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and uprisings, do not be frightened. So we can clearly see Jesus warning us so that we don't produce that fear, right? That energy of fear. He's saying it the way he's saying, but we all know that Jesus was talking in the parables in the way so that the ones that are supposed to understand, and the others, for example, the enemies, do not. So some of the things he was talking, we have to dig a little bit deeper into it. And fear is one of the big ones. That's the energy type that the other civilization is harvesting. And it's not doing any good for us to stay in fear. Those things must happen first, but the end will not come right away. Then he said to them, nations will rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places. So you can see the connection. He's talking about nations going against nations, and right away he's talking about earthquakes and famines and some of those negative things. So when we have a lack of the energy of joy or love, produced by our hearts, the malicious energies and feelings on the lower range energy, they stored in the planet Earth under the ground. We have example of it in the Yellowstone. And when the peak, because planet Earth, it's a living mechanism that's helping us to process those, because she's on our side. So whenever it get to the greater levels and the planet cannot no longer produce those types of energies, they come out and manifest into earthquakes and famines and those types of things, like shootings in the school, because we're looking right now from the energy perspective. Stay with me. Or plane crash or something else, or president assassination. Let's go on. But before all this, they will seize you and persecute you. They will hand you over to synagogues and put you in prison, and you will be brought before kings and governors, and all on account of my name. So another way of saying, the ones that accept Jesus and choose in their life, their heart to be united with him, the heart that producing this life force energy would be prosecuted, going after. And we can see it all over. And so you will bear a testimony to me, but make up your mind now not to worry. He's repeating himself, not to worry. Do not produce the energy of fear, or manage it better. You will be betrayed even by parents, brothers and sisters, relatives and friends, and they will put some of you to death. Everyone will hate you because of me. Again, if we choose to stay on his heights or close, or to choose as a destination that level, and we're doing the practices to get there. For example, I use violet flame daily, and we'll get to some others. Some of those I was talking about in the previous videos. I don't want to get stuck here, but it is important. But not a hair of your head will perish. Stand firm, and you will win life. Well, that's awesome. Let's do extra step, because as we know, a lot of Bibles are corrupted, so it makes sense to at least look into two different versions of Bible. And this is the version, the Message, which is close translation to Greek, but between pastors a lot would say it's not good, they say it's like it's from evil himself. Well, I decided to check for myself. I choose not to believe for everything that people say, and to double check. So let's just read and see what it says here. It was a funny story. I got the book, and then the script is so small I had to get the zoom glass to be able to read it. He said, "Watch out for the doomsday deceivers. Many leaders are going to show up with forged identities claiming I am the one, or the end is near. Don't fall for any of that. When you hear of wars and uprisings, keep your head and don't panic. This is routine history and no sign of the end." He went on, "Nation will fight nation and ruler fight ruler over and over. Huge earthquakes will occur in various places. There will be famines. You'll think at times that the very sky is falling. But before any of this happens, they'll arrest you, hunt you down, and drag you to court and jail. It will go from bad to worse. Dog eat dog, everyone at your throat, because you carry my name. You'll end up on the witness stand, called to testify. Make up your mind now, not to worry about it. I'll give you the words and wisdom that will reduce all you accusers to stammers and stutters. You'll even be turned in by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends. Some of you will be killed. There is no telling who will hate you because of me. Interesting, huh? Even so, every detail of your body and soul, every hair of your head is in my care. And now is very interesting part. Pay attention closely. Nothing of you will be lost. Staying with it. That's what is required. Stay with it to the end. And now I'm going to read it again. Nothing of you will be lost. Staying with it. That's what is required. Stay with it to the end. So we're not supposed to be giving away any parts of our body. We're supposed to be staying with it to the end. We just dig that message out. It takes some time to process, but you get my point. Those parts are the main ingredients for the energy production that we are talking about, life force energy. And let's just read once again the summary of what Jesus says in Luke 21. Watch out for the doomsday deceivers. I will add visible and invisible. When you hear of wars and uprisings, keep your head and do not panic. So we have to manage our fears a lot better. If Jesus is saying that even when the wars coming and this and that, do not panic, he really means something between the words. Everyone at you trot because you carry my name. When we choose that Jesus is our Savior, and when we choose that we are climbing that mountain to get on His mindset and to be example of the light in our family and everywhere we go, to be example of His light, then He warns us to watch out. Why? Because those that get closer to Jesus' mindset and heart produce more of that love energy. Let's see what Helena Roerich say in the teachings of New Epoch. I got this book. This lady is Russian. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but I just wanted to read some key points because we're talking about energy, and that's the topic today. The goal of a person's life is infinite upward evolution. A person, as a part of universal life, must progressively evolve. Evolution is possible only with the help of the hierarchy of the powers of light, as Jesus, for example. We're supposed to manage our body to become the spiritual master of the body. The meanings of a person's life consist in his growth of individual consciousness. In order to participate in evolution, a person must progressively realize, transform, and adopt physic energy. Those who do not learn from their instructions and experiences and do not ascend in consciousness and integrity will not ascend into next race, but will be assigned somewhere else where a new evolutionary development awaits them. This can be compared to an examination that a student must pass in order to advance to a higher class or graduate. But if he falls, he then is returned to kindergarten to start over. Living ethics considers the law of reincarnation and the law of karma as key elements in the progress of humanity evolution. We'll get to those big topics in the future videos. She touched on the energy, that we must master ourselves with energy, and we wanted to get better with staying in the feel mode of higher levels. Not because stay positive, but because now we're learning there's a science about the world that we're living in, and if we understand that science, we can prevent those that using that science against us and start using it against them. So what do we do? There's so much going on, and we feel that there's technology used against us, and this and that's going on, chemical alternation, our third eyes being as a Wi-Fi comparison to computer, being clouded. What do we do? I put a little list that came to me around 4 o'clock this morning. I'm gonna read it so I don't lose the thought. First, manage our fears by controlling sources that provoke those feelings. For example, we can choose to watch the news 2 p.m. or after. By that time, we will came closer to Christ consciousness, and will have a greater level to prevent those attacks or prevent those fears affecting us. So we have a choice of skipping news altogether. Jesus was talking about those things that people looking after, those things that people looking after producing this fear energy that we can put a stop to by simply limiting what our intake is as far as hearing or seeing, or simply making sure that we get at least to the half of the mountain in that mindset before we watch that. For myself, I imply the rule of not watching the news. I watch the news after 2 p.m. only. Before 2 p.m. I will not watch any news. But because I wanted to be aware of what's going on in the world, I still watch the news, but after 2 p.m. Second thing, not to lose any parts of our body to the end. Those are energy production parts that play a role in sustaining our reality. Third one, stay focused and watch out for the doomsday deceivers, visible and invisible. Number 4, do the things that help with production of life force energy, as music you like, movies you like, spending time with people or animals you love, dance, love, smile. Do things that you love, because that provoke you to produce that life force energy that we having a shortage of. And then in the previous video I mentioned about geyser that located in the Yellowstone National Park. It is a black diamond pool. That geyser is a very accurate energy measure device on the planet Earth. When it gets out of line, when the negative or low range energies go beyond of what our planet can sustain, then those negative situations manifest into wars and situations that we do not like. So if we look at the entire reality where we're at as energy, then it would start making sense. But for now, I'm just giving you some facts. That black diamond pool was not active since 2016. And we met with John in 2016. And the first time it erupted since 2016 was March of 2024. And then another time it erupted was on January 3rd, 2025, in correlation of fire in Los Angeles. So we can clearly see that we're on the edge again, because for as long as John was here and he brought me up on this board, John, as a soldier, took me across the battlefield and back, which allowed me to grow from a kid of God into a child of God. And I was able to carry on the lack of that energy during the 2023 and 2024 with many other producers. And it happened that the negative events was piling up with the war in Palestine and with what's going on in Ukraine. And the situation today is such that we're again on the edge. This is one of the reasons why I'm producing this video today, because as John helped me to get through the board of the battlefield so that I can grow from a child of God to a son of God, I would like to help you become a child of God faster and to take responsibility for the world where we're living in by taking responsibility on what you feel, what you think, and what you do at any point of time. So that on our planet, we make our own rules as the landlords of Earth. Thank you.